Hey there, Balanced Lady Bosses. Welcome to another episode of the Balanced Lady Boss Show. And as you would have heard from the intro, I have an amazing lady boss with us today. I am joined by Kerry and Clarke. She is amazing. Not only is she a self-made entrepreneur who has done some really epic things, not just in Jamaica, but also globally, but she's also just an all-around wonderful human being. You know, as I've gotten to know Kerry, she's one of the sweetest persons that I have met and really embodies what I believe is a balanced lady boss life, because she really focuses on living, loving, and leading from a place of holistic health and well-being. And that's what this entire show is all about, right, ladies? It's all about making sure that you guys are going after all the success you want, and at the same time that you are allowing your greatness to shine through by taking care of yourselves, right? So welcome, Kerry. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. What a beautiful introduction. This is sweet. Thank you.
Excellent. Now, this show in particular, I was really looking forward to, because it is not only going to be about me in terms of, creating a space for people to talk about, but it's going to be about your story. And I am so keen on hearing your story. So you have built your own boardroom. And I mean, I think what has been happening to me is I've been kind of finding out just how many talents you have. You are one of those persons that uses their gifts, right? And so not only is she beautiful, guys, but she creates beautiful experiences. I remember, Kerry, when you started offering my cards to your clients, and you did that video that was just showing you interacting with the cards, and I was like, Lord, I need that to do every video because it was so nice. So tell us about your journey. How did you end up creating this amazing world of fashion and enjoying the delicacies of life? Like, how did you create this? Where did it start? Did you have this dream as a kid, or did you just kind of stumble into it?
I definitely had the dream as a kid. I think I've been blessed to always be aware and conscious of the things that I enjoyed in life. I grew up from in a business family, so I very often would leave school and go to work with my parents, and I think that gave me the training, not knowing it was training me back then, to be an entrepreneur. I enjoyed creativity always, and I had a sewing machine from age 10. So I was in school. I was not the active person on, doing track and field. I was the one who was choosing the cheerleaders, helping them with their routines, designing the cheerleader uniforms, and getting it done. I was a Girl Scout and a Brownie, and I had all the badges because I just loved learning. I'm a curious person. I love to learn about everything in life. The sciences I just never ever got. I used to cry in science classes, and I think from an early age I recognized that unconsciously I was conscious about the things I liked and did not and I think that is a gift that I find when I'm speaking to the students at Edna Manley, for example. And you ask, what do you like? What makes you happy? What makes you smile? And not only them, I mean, just people in general, when you ask what makes you happy, there's so many people who they can't answer. And I don't understand. Okay, how are you? Not just, hi, how are you? It's not just a flippant question. It is, how are you? Are you conscious of what you're feeling? Are you conscious of what you're doing? And I think that I have just been blessed to always be conscious. I've always known that I love animals. And I'm a vegetarian. A lot of people know this. And my husband always says, please don't go on your soapbox. But I took story up to this weekend. I went to dinner with some friends, and that out of curiosity, why are you a vegetarian? And I said, it's not because of health reasons, because I have so many friends who's like, I really try, but I gained weight as a vegetarian. The truth is that I just don't believe that animals should be industrialized and treated how they are, because they are sentient beings and they have feelings. And I just don't believe in mass producing sentient beings. And I think that in life in general, and that's just one example, but when you're being true to what you're feeling, then everything becomes easier. So it's not hard for me to be like, I don't like the taste of meat. Like I completely don't even like the smell of meat now.
Mm.
And I said to them, I have a 15-year-old dog, so she has no teeth, and I have to buy meat for her, blend it with sweet potato. I have to make her dog food because she can't eat dog food. And even that grosses me out. So it is just staying true to who you are as a person in all aspects of your life. I think that's important. And I think by doing that, you live a lot more purposefully and passionately, and you enjoy life on a different level. So yeah,
Yeah.
I always knew what I loved in life. I wanted to be a vet at one point, but the sciences and I did.
That's that's what I was gonna say. It sounds like you could have actually been a very successful vet because, and I've seen you with your dogs, and you're so loving and patient. It's just, it's they're like people, and I'd love to see how you interact with them. So the vet thing seemed like a natural extension.
Try in classes. I did 9 6E subjects, and I got all ones and twos except for biology. I got a 3. And I remember waking up and crying, and I was like, I'm not prepared. I don't think I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna fail. And my father said to me, I'll never forget this. He said to me, don't worry, just do your best. And when you're finished, read over your work and you can leave. So I finished the biology exam maybe half an hour before the exam. And I got up and I read over my work. I gave it to the invigilator. And she goes, where are you going? I said, I'm finished. She said, no, go and check over your work. I said, I already checked over my work. She goes, well, you can't leave. I said, well, my father said I could leave. When I was finished and I checked off my work. So I left and she called my father, and my father talks about it to this day. It is the most hilarious thing. So I have been blessed with a family who has been both my mom and dad, who have also been very
Supportive.
supportive in anything that I want to do. And of course, I mean, our age group studying fashion at that time, my father's just like, what? Fashion? What is it's not a career? And I was like, yeah. But then again, in high school, I was making scrunchies, and I used to sell scrunchies by like the dozens every day, scrunchies that are back in style now.
I know, I know. I think I have one around here somewhere. My daughters are stealing mine, and I'm like, this is back in.
Right? I used to have a t-shirt collection called K Sports. I thought about it the other day. I was telling Stephanie, who's my assistant, I was just like, I feel like I'm in high school again and I'm doing K Sport again. So I've always been creative. I've always liked what I do. And I think it makes a big difference if people really listen to themselves, listen to their gut. I mean, it's not rocket science to figure out what makes you happy, what makes you tick. And I think life just flows so much more seamlessly when you are connected to that true purpose and passion in your life.
Oh, that's very true. And I'm actually really excited about the way that the arts are flourishing again. Because I mean, I remember watching Fame and thinking, my God, had I stuck to dancing, I would have been on Fame as a dancer. And then seeing that kind of, and even music, seeing music kind of being dialed back out of schools and dance not being a thing anymore and art being kind of sidelined, to now seeing a real, not just a re-emergence, but an embracing
It is
of the arts.
global also, with street
Yeah.
murals. You look at Mama Art District now. So it is exciting. And, I tell there are so many creatives. I am an external examiner at the Manley School. And there are so many creatives who are, first of all, we have so much talent in this.
Talent.
It is ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
I get excited when I meet these people. And I'm just like, oh my God, what can we do? This is exciting. And they're afraid of, many of them are afraid of pursuing what they're studying because they don't want
Yeah.
to be paid. One of the things I do, I try to have one with them, and I'm just like, come on, once you're doing what you love in life, believe in yourself. I think that is very important. You need to believe in yourself. You need to find that purpose, and it will be fine. Do not go and get a job doing something that you're doing just because you need to have a 9 to 5. Think about it, believe in yourself, set your goals, and you will be successful. And I'm here to guide you. because there are too many people who are doing what they do not want to do. They're not following their purpose. They're not following their passion. And then their life is just at 50%. Why not make life at 100%? Don't be scared. Embrace it, you know?
Oh gosh. When you say it, I'm over here and I'm like, as I transition into entrepreneurship, I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, yes, Kerry, yes, that's exactly what I need to hear. And I'm hoping you guys are listening because ultimately, it's the mindset that makes it work. And as an entrepreneur, I would actually love for you to share around that. Like, when have there been times when you've kind of decided, okay, we're taking this path, and then boom, maybe COVID, something happens, and you have to constantly be talking to yourself because you feel the doubt and you feel the fear about not being able to serve your clients and share and make an impact. What has recently, or maybe not recently, but most significantly happened that has created that kind of concern for you with the mindset part, that belief part, which is so critical?
Well, I think it's important to first define what is success, right? People define success so differently, and success can be defined as monetary success. And for me, success is being happy in what you're doing. I think that is true success. And of course, the money comes after. And I think that is just an added benefit because money is a means to live the life that you want to live or not, right? So I have, I know maybe two or three kids who interned with me going back pre-COVID, and one of them in particular, his dream was to be is to be a stylist, and he said to me he's gonna go to Italy. He wants to make it, and I mean, this is somebody who his parents weren't going to send him there. He had to raise money. He had to figure out how he's going there, but he was going. This is what he wanted to do, and he's now in Milan working with the top stylists. I had a fundraiser for him, helped him to, make up whatever money was missing from what he had raised. And it's a mindset. So when people are always making excuses, there's so many people who say, well, why don't you do this? But this, just go to the gym.
Yeah.
Oh, I just feel too relaxed today. It's self-care. And it's just like, okay, stop making excuses and just do it. Just go after your dream because it is possible. And that's the difference between leaders and followers, right? The leaders will find their purpose. They'll set their goals. They'll write these goals down and timeline
Yes.
goals. And there's going to be a way. Where there is a will, there is a way, and there's always a way. So for me in COVID times, I actually looked at it as an opportunity to rest because I had the store for 16 years. I was looking to expand right when COVID happened. And I just said, I think this is a sign from the universe to take a break, relax for 2 months. I mean, 2 years later, it anticipated. But guess what? Opportunities has grown from that. So where we had a website for the store all along, we didn't focus on it. We didn't build the website out. And that's what we've done now. And the website continues to grow on a daily basis. I also decided to use it as a perfect opportunity to travel. So while other people weren't traveling, I was like, yes, let's travel. The airplanes are empty. The airport,
Empty.
the wildlife is abundant. And I
Wow.
have this connection with these animals. I just looked at it, let me scuba dive some more, let me practice. And it's me time, it's 100% self-care time and everything else will come. It's more about during COVID, looking after other things that made me happy and other purposes and still finding a balance to with the store. So let's pop up, every 3 months, every 4 months, let's do that. And guess what, yes, of course, you're a little stressed about it. Obviously, the cash flow is not what it is. The website does okay, but it's not the store. But guess what? There's room for improvement. The fact that it is doing okay, it means it can do better. And I got to spend more time with myself, give myself more self-care, and do other things that before you were just too busy. You were too busy before COVID working and not looking after everything else. And when you realize that time is limited, then you really try to take advantage of the time. Because if I spend the day in bed all day, I literally will wake up and I'm just like, oh my goodness, I lost that day. What could I have done that would have been productive, that would make me feel good? And that's kind of how I approached COVID.
Wow. Okay, girl. Yeah, like you're a whole other level of inspiration for me right now. Your optimism is infectious. Can I just tell you?
Life is short in a Stace, and if you're all about life to make money and to buy material things, that really don't feed your soul. And I'm not saying that shopping, I have a store and I love to shop and it feels good and I get excited, but there are other things that feed your soul in a different way that doesn't cost anything. You know, one of the things that I really wanted to do that I did not do is that I checked out 2 places to go and volunteer. One was in Africa to go and look after the endangered animals or the rhinos where the mothers were poached or something, to go and help to care for them. And one was at sea for 3 months with a big ship that basically paroles the sea to make sure that there's no illegal fishing. So you get to dive, you get to work with the wild animals and so forth. And the reason I did not go is because of my 15-year-old dog. She could not manage. She couldn't survive without me because she's half blind, she's half deaf. She's so attached to me that I said, you know, it has to be another time, because she would probably die if I left for 3 months. But again, I was just looking for opportunities. These are things, and since as a kid I wanted to be a vet, but guess what? Times have changed. There's social media. There's so much more that you can do that is related directly to your other passions. So I don't need to be a vet to help with conservation or to feed the animals that feed my soul. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
it's just finding this is not well done. There's always an opportunity in everything. So you don't look at it, you don't get stressed out and feel this is awful. At the end of the day, you know, people may have financial challenges, but there's ways to get around that. So you just have to figure it out. And once you have the right mindset, I think things are a lot easier.
Absolutely. No, you're absolutely spot on. Now, I want to dive into your boardroom just a bit, right? So, you talked about having the store. I think it's 18 years now, would be how long you've had it. And wow. And so, there are a lot of aspiring fashionistas out here that you know, they want to build you know, a brand in fashion. They want to maybe open a store or you know, like one of my besties in Atlanta, she's a designer and she's working on her own line and would want to get into a store like yours. Can you kind of tell us what your journey was to actually creating Kerry Man Woman Home, and then how that transitioned into becoming a show and a magazine? You know, what was that journey like?
It was all exciting and it all happened naturally. So with the store, I was working with my parents in the family business. And after about 2 years, I said to them, I was just like, hey guys, I did not study fashion to take over the family business. I want to go and do my thing. I want to follow my dream. And I enjoyed working with them. You know, you give back, they needed help and what. And they said to me, are you sure? I don't know anything about this business. Are you sure that's what you want to do? And I said, yes, I'm sure. So they said, fine. I came to Kingston, found a space. I like to hire professionals to do things. So I got in touch with an interior person who drew the store for me, got a contractor, built it out, went off to the shows, bought my stock and opened, and it was a success from the first month. So that was very exciting. I was actually quite surprised and overwhelmed because, you know, I'm a little country girl. I'm coming to Kingston, big city. I don't know what's going to happen. And it was a success. And I think with that success, you grow more confident in what you're doing, because of course, the first time you're spending, you're buying and you're not sure who will buy what and what people like. But that confidence grows over time. A lot of creatives came to the store at that time, and I found myself, and whether or not they were coming to sit and speak to me, I would always try to support them, because as a creative, I understood. And a lot of creatives who I met with at the time didn't have the formal training or the formal business training. They are 100% creative, where I am half and half business, half creative. Thankfully, I have a good mix of both. And it just kept happening. So I'd meet with Stacey, and Stacey would say to Tammy, oh, I just spoke to Kerry and we're going to do this together and we're going to work together. And then that just started happening and happening. And then I had gone to a local fashion show and tried to meet with the creatives and made appointments, and it just didn't happen. It wasn't organized, and I got a little frustrated, and I was like, you know, we really need to develop a proper platform for these creatives, because I think it's very cool to get things that are not on Amazon, for example, or that you can't find. It's unusual, it's unique. And you're supporting a small business. So through that, Moda was born, and the platform really was a carbon platform. We haven't done Moda for since COVID. We pivoted and had Moda markets in Christmas 2021 to kind of try to bring that back. And that's how that started, just highlighting our creative people from the Caribbean locally to try to expand their businesses so that they get into more stores so that they can continue to build and grow also. And that's pretty much how that happened. And I think I will sit down, Stacey, and do some art or sew or embroider, and I'm completely happy doing that. So it really is joyful to me to help creatives to build their businesses, and that's really just how that happened. I think the advice I would give to young persons wanting to enter business now, I think the opportunities are so much more than what existed for us in our time, because when I was in college, I think emails literally came out in my last year in college. We didn't have the internet.
Same.
And I think, I mean, the metaverse is something to explore now. I see Hermes is looking to sell their bags on the metaverse, which is something I haven't fully grasped. Read on it. I still don't understand. And there's so, it's almost like COVID, where you read that, oh, it's not, the metaverse is not going to take off. The metaverse is going to take off. It's so many different like things out there and you're just not sure where to go. But hey, if you can make money in the metaverse, today I was just like, how cool is that? You know, there's so many opportunities. Social media didn't exist when we existed. There's just so much information there. Google didn't exist. And sometimes like, I want to research and I'm on Google and I'm just like, you end up spending 3-4 hours just researching and reading and learning, and the information is there. So people who want to start out, there's just so many opportunities available to them today that wasn't available to us. And I just think thinking about the plan, writing your goals, setting your targets. I think targets are important. Just go for it.
Oh, that's really good. And I like that the Moda market was born out of the need that came through the store. It was like a natural evolution.
It completely was.
You know?
But in life, I think once you are connected to, again, just gratitude, empathy, compassion, your purpose, all of that, that is how the world happens, right? There's so many blogs that you'll read, Oprah, Chopra, all of them, and they speak about that, your intention and your goal. It typically just flows for you right after that. So it is really about believing in yourself, setting that goal, setting that intention, affirming it, and living your purpose and being truthful and living through love and compassion and empathy, and the universe gives it back to you. I don't want to,
that's true,
but it is true. And you hear people speaking about it. And I never used to speak about it because sometimes I used to joke, the girls in the store used to joke and say, you're such a witch. And I used to laugh and I used to say, I know, but that's exactly what it is, right? You're speaking it, you're living it, and it just happens and it can't be explained.
No, that's fantastic. No, I'm just like, I'm getting goosebumps because I actually know exactly what you're talking about. I think with business, what I've found is that business tends to come with a very practical side to it. Mm-hmm. And so because of that, as a business-minded person, especially me being in corporate for as long as I have been, it's been a difficult transition to surrender the business into a more spiritually guided way of being. You know, like last year, my intention was surrender into abundance, because I realized that one of the reasons I was having such a hard time, I was putting myself through a lot of suffering about letting go of ICD, right? Because I had in my head, I had positioned it had to look a particular way. I had to resign, and oh my God, what's going to happen with my relationships? And I was just doing a lot of that. And I was creating, I think, a lot of pain for myself because I thought of it in a very traditional way. And I remember laying down, I think it was like right after I had COVID, and I was ill for a while. And then, you know, I kind of started back working again, and I was feeling so stressed out. And I thought to myself, I really just need to take some time for myself. And it was just one day, and I just listened to Wayne Dyer like all day long, and just really focused more on who I was being and what my thoughts were telling me and what I desired, and getting back to center and letting go of all the judgment. And immediately I started to have all these different ideas about what I could create, that the things that I was worried about kind of faded away, because it was now back to, okay, no, you are the person that is the creator of your life. What kind of experience do you want? But it took me a minute to get there. And I think I'm one of those. I think I maybe I like the suffering, I don't know, but it's always like I have to go through the process of it to get to the place where I lean back into the universal principles and allow that to guide me. So last year it was surrender into abundance. This year it's ease into expansion, because I was sure that I was going to be packing up and moving to Atlanta. And now that's shifting. It's looking all different, because my kids are like, I don't want to leave Jamaica. So I'm having to reframe how I'm thinking about that. But I decided I'm not going to suffer through it like I did the last thing. I'm going to approach this with ease and just put out to the universe what I want and see what expansion looks like through those lenses, Yeah. So I want to dive into how you managed creating this company and building this company on your own, and then expanding to Moda with somebody. Like, talk to me about that process, because I'm looking for a co-founder from morning and I can't find one yet. So
I was looking for a partner. It's funny. I love to tell the story, and I didn't know who. And typically, my gut always knows who, right? My gut. When people ask me, "What do you know?" I was just like, "I don't know. It's my gut, and it's the truth. I really don't know." And I heard about Aisha Panton. She had this event at Christmas time called Conversation Piece. I was like, okay, well, let me go check it out, because there's no way. I had set the goals, but I know I couldn't manage to do it alone. And that's another thing. I do believe in partnerships with people who will share the same values and beliefs as yourself. I think it's very important to grow. So I went to Conversation Piece. I did not know Aisha. Saw her. I went over to her and I'm like, "Hi, I'm Kerry. I would love to speak to you about some thoughts I'm having with Moda that's very similar to Conversation Piece, but on a different scale. After Christmas, can we meet?" And she looked at me and she's like, "Sure." And then we met in like the January, and I told her the idea, and she was all in, and our energies just connected. And that's how that happened. It literally happened like that. And Aisha and I could not have been, and again, this is like listening to you, God. Aisha and I, like, I call her my work wife, because I can finish her sentence. It is so crazy. But again, I saw her, and I was looking around before, didn't meet anybody else. And I was like, this is the person, I can tell. And she's amazing. And we have different strengths. I know what my strengths are. She knows what hers are. But we help each other along the way. And there's no quarreling. It's just good. And that's how that happened. And we shared the same vision. So we discussed it, and we have the same aesthetic. And it is crazy. Aisha and I say we're going to do X, and I will look for pictures for inspiration. And she does the same thing. And I send her these pictures. She laughs and she sends back her pictures, and they're typically the same type.
Same.
Partnership, and that's how that happened. And again, everything happens organically, and I literally say that I have been blessed for things to happen that organically with me. But I don't think it's only that. I think it is just listening to myself and being connected.
And yeah, I would say I get the work wife thing. I've had work wives in the corporate world, and initially when I was launching, I thought I can do this by myself, even though when people come to pitch, for their business, every investor always looks for a co-founder. They want to see that you have this sounding board, this person that's going to, be your other half. And I know this because I sit on all the boards and I look at all the things, but somehow I'm like, I'm going to do this. And it has been like pushing water uphill. I swear to God.
Is it? That's a good thing. Don't worry.
Um, and so where I kind of got to, I actually reached out to a couple of persons that I thought would be ideal. But again, it was based on the timing I originally had for my business, which was 2017, 2018. Now we're 2021, 22, those persons have moved on to other things. And so I said, you know what, instead of me trying to find anyone, I'm going to allow the universe to bring the person to me. And in the meantime, I'm just going to slow my roll. I have my goals and I know what they are. I need to ease.
Pace yourself. Pace yourself, basically. And not stress yourself.
Don't stress myself about the thing, right?
Because at the end of the day, right? You have your goals, you have your deadline, but you don't need to stress yourself because it's not that serious. Especially if there's something that COVID should have taught everybody is that it's not that serious. Yeah. Today is not promised. Tomorrow is not promised. So let us just take our time and be grateful to have help for
absolutely
and move forward because life continues.
Absolutely. No, so right. So a lot of what we've been talking about has actually been around the bliss space. And I mean, I think in general, women do well when it comes to the girls hanging out and the spying and all of that. I do get a little concerned about doing business. And, I mean, when you describe what happened with Aisha, it makes me feel like it's possible. I think I get nervous because I'm such a servant leader. Like I give. I'm one of those people. And I get worried that I'll be giving to somebody that is not also giving or is not. Yeah, and I think what I have to be careful of doing is overshadowing the desire to have somebody with the fear of what they won't bring or will bring along with them. How did you navigate, you talked about not having quarrels and having this relationship. How do you guys navigate like your planning and are you very structured or is it more fluid and organic? And
it definitely is a lot more fluid and organic, and we have different roles and responsibilities. I think I take more of the business side where that is concerned, and she takes the creative side, but then I will meet her pathway with the creative and said, but why not this? Why not that? And it just flows. It's fluid, and I don't watch her to see what she's doing. She doesn't watch me to see what I'm doing. We just have that mutual understanding and respect for each other to know that setup is Aisha. I'm there to help her. Business, seeking sponsorship, getting makers is Kerry. She's going to meet me. If I have a doubt of something, I share it with her and I'm like, what do you think about this? And then she'll answer and it's like, yeah, I kind of knew that. I just wanted to make sure. So it's definitely a lot more fluid. But again, you partner with people who you share values with, eh? So then it doesn't become messy.
Yeah, the values thing I think is actually really important. Right. I think that piece of it's really critical.
Stick a pin. Remember how we met?
Yes, that's true. Yes.
Yeah, remember?
Absolutely. And it's funny because I actually ended up in your magazine before I even met you.
And I didn't even remember that either. Because we have an magazine. So I like to delegate to who I know is capable, and I do not try to micromanage. So the editor for the magazine for many years was Lisha Wong. Lisha is amazing at what she does. So I just left Lisha. She'd send her topics. She would send us to review, and it was great. So no micromanaging. We just find people who we know are capable and who are geniuses in their fields, their respective fields, and that's how it works. There's no way that I can do everything or Aisha can do everything, or it just doesn't work. You have to look at the big,
Yeah, I think what you've actually done very well organically, and this is where, you talk about that universal power, is that you've created an ecosystem that serves you and delivers value at a very high quality level. Yeah, absolutely, guys. Like if you haven't checked out Kerry Man Own Home yet, you need to check it out online. And definitely like Moda, I am just, whatever you guys do next, I'm there.
Thank you. Yeah. Who knows what is next, please?
Yeah, it's just whatever.
Right. Who knows? I mean, I'm so confused. I'm just like, is it still what's going on? But anyways.
Exactly. Now, one of the things that I really admire about you, and I'm actually going to have to come over and sit down and talk to you about this because, as you know, I'm planning my sabbatical. Huh?
You've been saying that for a year, but anyways.
I'm actively planning my sabbatical, as I've shared. It now has a name. I think this is the first time I'm sharing in public space, which it will be probably by the time this actually airs. I would already be on sabbatical, but so my sabbatical is called Sweet Surrender. And I'm going to be doing a couple trips as a part of it. And I was actually inspired about Costa Rica because I saw you go there, and I was
Moved there too, during COVID. I even called the minister sick and my dogs get passports. Seriously,
yeah.
because learn Spanish, scuba dive, yoga, self-care, one of the top 5 places for people to retire, just have that experience. But anyways, my dogs didn't get passports. But tell me more.
No, yeah. So I watched your pictures, the ones that I saw online, and I was like, Costa Rica. And interestingly enough, I'd actually, when I was living in Canada, a colleague of mine, there were a couple, the CEOs of the company actually had bought a home in Costa Rica from like 2000, I must say 11, long time. And I was like, I've never been. And they were talking about it one day that, that's kind of where they go, like twice a year, they go there for a couple months and they know they're going to retire there. And it has the best pineapples in the world. That's one thing I remember them talking about. It's sweetest pineapples, yeah, ever. And they just talked about it in such a way that made me curious, but I never looked it up. I never followed up. And then when I came here, being in the tech space, which is, my day job, being in the tech space, Costa Rica has actually really come up on the map for outsourcing. So BPO work, e-commerce, like it's quite fascinating how they've been able to create just kind of this bubble that is now on the map as one of the more advanced countries in terms of digital transformation. And then I saw you there and I was like, it's so beautiful. Like I had never looked it up. I'd never looked at pictures. I'd never done any of that. And then when I was like, no, sir, look, I was like, I wonder if she's there sourcing. So I initially thought it was like a sourcing trip that you were on. Please tell me about Costa Rica, because I hear it's like this amazing retreat, self-discovery place with just all kinds of amazing magical things. So yeah.
So Costa Rica, what I found with Costa Rica is, and it's probably in the top 3 places that I've visited because I love to travel, I love to explore, I love to meet people, blah, blah, blah. And they're like in Jamaica, we say, yeah, man, no problem. Over there, they say pura vida. And pura vida means just a pure life, right? And you literally feel that. And the country has done such an amazing job with so many things that I believe in. So no plastic waste, looking after their environment, protecting the environment, just on a whole other sustainability vibe. And you felt the energy, that you can feel the energy of people when you go and you really feel the energy. People are truly happy. They're not angry. They're not upset. They're not frustrated. They're living pura vida, which is, if I water ski for life, if I surf for a living, that's what I do. If I give lessons, they're happy at doing what they do. And that was something that stood out to me, and I recognized it, and I felt I went on the Pacific side, not the Caribbean side, because I also went to dive. And everything you're saying is true. It just feels very holistic, not even holistic. It felt the food tasted fresh. You felt the love for the protection of their country and their animals, because they have forests, they have animals, they have species that you don't find anywhere else. And the people were just genuinely nice people. Nobody's troubling anybody. You're on the beach, dogs are running around. In Jamaica, if I take my dogs to the beach, I'm like, that dog is gonna attack my dog. So there is a friend of mine visiting from Spain who said to me, it's so bizarre that when they come to Jamaica, they literally have to set their head to thinking that dogs are going to be barking. And it's something I've never thought about, but it's true. In Jamaica, you hear dogs barking all the time.
Yes.
this just happened like 3 months ago, and I've never thought about it, but the
Yeah, me
dog
either.
constantly. So I go over there and there are like 100 dogs on the beach with their owners looking all happy. Nobody's barking at each other. And that is just something weird to notice. To me, that spoke of the energy of the place. You know, you have
Yes.
flocks of parrots flying over the beach. It's just so beautiful. Lots of yoga studios. It was just a lovely place. I don't know about the whole tech field, Stacey. That is not my forte. I have a millennial assistant and she handles all of that. So from a business standpoint, I don't know. But in all my trips, I do try to delve a little bit into the creatives and see what is there. So I tried to do that. It wasn't too fruitful, but beautiful place. I highly recommend you to go.
No, that's great. And I,
It's pretty reasonable.
okay. Did you look at any real estate
I
while
did.
you were there?
Of course I did, Stace. I told you.
Yeah.
Real estate wasn't bad. You can get a 2 bedroom for rent. In trying to remember the name of the place I visited. It's just slipped me right now, but not bad. It's definitely about 50% cheaper than Jamaica. You can get a 2 bedroom at a reasonable cost. So I did. I didn't look to purchase.
Okay. Okay.
I also believe in purchasing real estate if you already own. If you don't have children, so I don't have children, so I didn't look about purchasing.
No, that's good. That's good. No, I actually was more interested in what you've shared in terms of just the beauty of the place and the energy, kind of the vibe. The yoga thing is big because, I'm a yogi and I love to practice. So I'm definitely going to be doing that. And waterfalls, I've heard they have.
And it was during COVID. There was nobody anywhere. All the tours I did, it was just like me and nature. It's lovely. A nice escape and getaway.
Nice. Okay. All right. So now I'm sold. Like I'm definitely Costa. It's just, I feel that it's calling me almost,
You
you
ask
know?
the culture of the people. There's some places you visit and you don't feel like, Jamaica has this very unique culture and vibe and spirit.
Yeah.
When I'm speaking to people about the Caribbean, and I was just like, it's not because I'm Jamaican, but you can visit other countries, you just do not feel that. Not other islands. Costa Rica has that same, je ne sais quoi. It's just an energy that exists.
Nice, nice. Okay, so all right, all right. So I'll have to sit down and kind of think through how I'm going to navigate the planning for going there, but that's definite.
Retreat?
Say again?
You're gonna have a retreat there?
Well, initially it was just going to be me, but what I'm actually thinking of doing is creating. So my sweet surrender is now going to be what I use to brand the Balanced Lady Boss Retreat. Yeah, because I think that's what we need.
I think Sharon Fanny just went to teach yoga down there. I'm not sure what she did, but I know she was in Costa Rica. So you could also speak to her.
Yeah, I'll reach out. I'll reach out to her. I really wanted to I wasn't planning on doing anything completely on my own, like away. Especially now with a partner, I've gotten accustomed to doing everything with him. And especially COVID, the bulk of our relationship has been in COVID, right? But when he was talking to me about the sabbatical and we were thinking through planning and budgeting and all that, he was like, so where are you going? And I was like, what do you mean, where am I going? he's like he's like, you have to spend some time with yourself and really do the self work before you start building this business, because that's where everything starts, right? And he's also become very spiritual through our relationship. And I wanted to find out from you how that feeds kind of the work that you do.
Oh, well, it definitely inspires you. Just like you were speaking about earlier in our conversation, that block that you had and the stress that you cause on yourself. When you do that type of a self-care, it's like meditating. I mean, I'm not going to say I meditate every day, but there are days I literally feel noise in my head.
Yeah.
Heart beats a little faster and I get a little anxiety and I literally stop, close my room door and sit down and turn on with a guided meditation and deep. So that is how that will help you. But what's great with Costa Rica, again, is the energy is so heightened that whatever noise or whatever care that he's speaking about, it happens very fast because, you know, in Jamaica, like you drive out to Kingston and as you hit the highway and you start to some see your shoulders kind of feel like they're just rock.
Yes.
It's the same type of feeling, and it happens very easily just because of the environment and the energy of the place. You know, there's no hustle, bustle, stress, costing, etc., etc. So it
Yeah.
naturally.
No, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Okay, I'm definitely going. Definitely going. And the retreat that I was thinking of was actually going, instead of doing it early in the year, I decided to do it like around October because I didn't want to be actively trying to execute something so early in me stepping out. You know, I really want to get a feel for who my ideal woman is that would be a part of this because it would be very exclusive, you know, and I want it to really serve persons in a way that they are touch moved and inspired beyond anything they thought they would be experiencing, you know. So that's what I want to create for myself. um yeah, so I'm gonna come get the b-roll from you, girl. I'm gonna come. Yeah. Okay, so we've been chatting for almost an hour, so I'm going to wrap us up.
Okay, so fast.
I'm going to wrap us up. I always ask for one piece of advice that you would leave with our community. And it can be either a quote or a fable or a scripture or a knowing, anything that you tend to lean on. Maybe it's a saying that just always anchors you or always reminds you of what your intention is that you could share with us today.
A couple of them. And one of my oldest ones is just do it. It's Nike's tagline, just do it. Like, don't talk about it, just do it. Just make that first step, just do it. Another one is just the only competition that you should have is just being competition with yourself. Just always try to learn, always try to grow. And it's not that serious. Be gentle with yourself, take time. It really isn't that serious. And try to be true to what really matters in your life and try to connect with yourself. So just do it. The only competition should be yourself and listen to yourself and always be curious to grow. It's so funny how my assistant is always sending me this is random what she sends me on social media and what I send her. It is so funny if you're supposed to put them side by side. I'm sending her things about growth and development and learning and what's happening in the world, and she's sending me these memes. I'm like, I was like, why don't you spend more time doing something constructive? But I think
Different headspace.
be in competition with yourself and just be curious. Like there's so much to life to learn. There's so much, it's almost overwhelming. It's just like it should
Yes.
excite you, it should, you know, enhance your life in some way. Sometimes I feel like there's not enough hours in the day to do all the things you want to do. So
Absolutely. No, you're spot on. You're spot on. So I want to thank you very much, Kerry, for spending this time with us today. And I know that there are lots of ladies in the community who are going to connect with this message because I do feel that one of the anchors to who you are being is that spiritual side of you. And I think what you've shared today, certainly for me, has reminded me of what must come first. You know, it's really that self connection and trusting the universe because everything else comes after that. You know, so thanks for joining us. And I hope we can have you back on the show one day soon.
this was fun. And I look forward to catching up with you after.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Have a good day.